Hey guys, gals, and others, it's the Cannabis Crone. I've got a long one today, I'm not going to lie. There's a lot of information here. I actually went down a rabbit hole, and since I had makeup and hair done anyway, and a clean shirt, because I had a job interview online, I thought, you know what, might as well just do my podcast now. Well, hello. Got my duder here. I say hi, I should read this. Whoop. Say hi. Okay, get out of here. Go on. All right, so I want to say this first. There's two things housekeeping I want to get out of the way before I delve into this. I am not an anti-vaxxer. I am anti-mandate, anti-mass hysteria, and anti-propaganda. After researching and realizing that much of what I was posting on Facebook actually never made it to friends' news feeds, I started doing some digging. My partner was the one who brought it to my attention that he was no longer receiving any of my posts, at least not the ones from sources such as Breaking Points, The Hill, The Jimmy Dore Show, Russell Brand, and Joe Rogan. Surprise, surprise. Interestingly enough, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube are now being fact-checked by Reuters, in spite of Reuters having obvious and traceable ties to Pfizer, the World Economic Forum, and Trusted News Initiative. Now, we must go on a slight tangent to show the Trusted News Initiative mission, what it really is, as opposed to the face they present to the public, and many people have never even heard of them. The TNI officially began in July of 2019 when BBC Director General Tony Hall convened a gaggle of media moguls and big tech companies to, quote, arrive at a practical set of actions we can take together right now to tackle the rise of misinformation and bias by creating a global alliance for integrity in news to promote freedom and democracy worldwide. And yet from the start, TNI's true mission was to counter all of the so-called anti-vaxxers. In other words, the folks who were looking at the data saying, hold the phone, these numbers, this research does not add up, and who were actually gaining traction and credibility on social media. Trusted News Initiative began touting these folks as part of a fake movement, spreading misleading and dangerous information. So basically, TNI has become a censorship tool, willfully and knowingly suppressing life-saving information about the COVID virus. The Trusted News Initiative has vigorously participated in the suppression of the following information: the actual source of the SARS-CoV-2 virus, early effective treatments for COVID, voices of dissenting health professionals that don't agree with Tony Boy Fauci science, the real numbers of post-vaccination side effects and deaths, the benefits of natural immunity versus vaccination immunity, evidence of pathogenic priming and ADE, and the central role of the effect of comorbidities such as obesity in severe COVID cases. They have worked vigorously to suppress all of this information. In short, Trusted News Initiative is a sophisticated subversion of the truth, securing Big Pharma's bottom line of profit and control. Corporate liars benefiting corporate liars, and around and around and around it goes. So you tell me, is it a conflict of interest for Reuters to be fact-checking Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, specifically any posted COVID information that deviates from the political narrative of Pfizer? Let's face it, it is their political narrative. And helping this fascist narrative right along is the fear-based, terror-mongering mainstream corporate media. Because when you have trusted desk jockeys such as Rachel Maddow engaging in prostitution journalism, it becomes easier to indoctrinate her loyal followers and their kin, those centrist soccer moms who have traded their sanity and intelligence for the false promise of world normalcy once again. Maddow, who blatantly lied about vaccine efficacy by saying, for everyone to hear, once you are vaccinated, the virus stops with you, you can't transmit nor catch it, has never been forced to face the consequences of lying repeatedly to the public. Why would she? She is doing exactly what the wealth hoarders and leaders of the world want her to do, and that is whatever it takes to shame, bully, and or terrify citizens into getting the jab. over and over and over again. This is not only misleading, it is dangerous because she's got a wide platform, and many consider MSNBC to be their one and only source of news, which means they are loading up on the high-caloric diet of identity politics and false political narratives instead of consuming a more nutritious diet of truth and scientific fact. If you follow the money trail, and at last look, Rachel Maddow herself is worth about $20 million, you'll see that MSNBC receives a large portion of funding from Pfizer. When trusted news sources such as CNN, ABC, NBC, and of course MSNBC are bought and paid for by the pharmaceutical industry, how then can they be trusted to tell the truth about what's really going on behind the scenes of this pandemic? When Pfizer is set to bring in over $54 billion, let me reiterate, $54 billion in projected sales for 2022 strictly from their COVID vaccines alone. Now that's not counting all of the other pills, potions, and poisons they sell. How can anyone trust that they'll be honest about how the products they sell actually perform? Added to all of these other forms of misleading propaganda is the global mass formation or mass hypnosis occurring worldwide. According to Matthias Desmet, professor of clinical psychology at Ghent University in Belgium, the central condition for mass formation to occur is isolation and a lack of societal bonding. Cue the COVID lockdowns. The second condition is a majority of the population see life as meaningless and purposeless. Cue the closure of businesses, layoffs, and household economic destruction. The third condition is widespread, free-flowing anxiety. Cue mainstream corporate media, fear-mongering. The fourth condition is free-floating frustration and aggression. Cue once again corporate and social media creating division while pitting human against human, shaming, blaming, and scapegoating. And according to many experts in the field of hypnosis and psychology, global mass formation is being successfully implemented worldwide, with some countries, such as ours, drinking significantly more of the Kool-Aid than others. And where does this path of mass formation, mass hypnosis, and mass hysteria lead us? To totalitarianism. That's where. It leads us right to the powerful entity offering up a solution and a promise, Big Pharma and their poster boy, little Tony Fauci. It'll be interesting to see in the end just how many people will jeopardize their health and, unfortunately, the health of their children by allowing themselves to continue Big Pharma's profit margin from not only the vaccines themselves, but the ridiculous amount of boosters they will say are needed year after year. One only has to have basic intelligence to connect the dots. All of the countries, such as Singapore and Israel, with high numbers of vaccinated citizens, are experiencing huge caseloads of COVID. So if 90% of the public is vaccinated, and you have every one of their hospitals overflowing with COVID cases, then it's safe to say that the majority of those patients have already been vaxxed and boosted. So what's that again about vaccine efficacy? Folks, you're being duped. And more importantly, you're being duped into selling out the future health of yourself and your children. I will post several links below and trust that those of you searching for the truth will follow that trail of breadcrumbs, money, and corruption to the other side, where truth, critical thinking, and common sense reside. Don't give in to the fear, okay? Don't give in to the fear. If you know people that are taken in by this whole narrative, this whole vaccine mandate philosophy, pitting the vaccinated against the unvaccinated, creating the unvaccinated as these scapegoats, and talking about actually putting them in concentration camps and the like. It's very scary, and if you know people who are buying into that, then please let them see this video. Please let them follow some of these links. There are intelligent, educated people out there who do follow the real science, who are saying this pseudoscience of Tony Fauci and of Big Pharma and of our government is detrimental to the true health and well-being of not only the American citizens, but global citizens worldwide. Now, down below, there will be a bunch of links for you guys to follow if you so choose. And yeah, again, I'm not anti-vax. I'm here to give you the information that I think a lot of people are missing with their high caloric diet of corporate media. They're missing out on the nutritious, truly scientific, factual wisdom that is out there if only they will research beyond Google. You know, if only they will really take it and start to look at people's credentials and look at the connections and follow the money. Big Pharma, and specifically Pfizer, is literally funding all of corporate media. And I don't know if they're funding Fox or not, and they might not be funding Fox. I'm not sure about that. I didn't see anything. It seems like it's the liberal media that they are absolutely funding. All of those liberal shows that are being watched by the left are being funded by Pfizer. So you are getting simply their narrative, none of the facts, none of the real science. A lot of the pseudoscience that most fifth graders could take apart because they've learned the real science of viruses and vaccines, and what adults are touting now and spouting out about are not. So start where you are, see what needs tending to, and do what you can. Namaste.